Okay, so I'm going to go on this lesson, and I have to really stick to the content of the lesson because there's just too much to get through. Last teaching I did, Exile decoded, Moshiach revealed, make yourself a serpent. I mentioned the concept of the Torah of Moshe in exile. I also mentioned the concept of Amilus, the anti-Moshiach, and how the concept of the anti-Moshiach fuels our imagination because of the Torah of Moshe in exile. Okay? And this prevents unity between Moshe and the two Mashiachim, the two Messiahs, Moshiach ben Yosef, Moshiach ben David. This is one of the factors that prevents unity, and we need to get to a place of unity. Because when we get to a place of unity between the two Mashiachim and Moshe, we've got the power then to get us out of exile and into redemption. It's like a bird. The body of the bird is Moshe. The left wing is Moshiach ben Yosef. This is the joy. And the right wing is Moshiach ben David. This is the love of our service to Hashem. Once we attain that level of revelation, once we attain that level of unity between those forces of redemption, we can take flight from this place of exile into redemption. Okay, because through that unity, the name of Yod He Vav He is revealed in full unity. So we've got to understand the concepts that are blocking that. One of the major concepts is this: the fact that the Torah of Moshe is in exile, and the consequence of the Torah of Moshe in exile is this force Amilos, the anti-Messiah, having power through our imagination, through our own imagination, our own thoughts. It's like the war of Gog and Magog. The final battle of the war of Gog and Magog is one with our thoughts. Okay? And we need a power of unity to be able to overcome this force. Okay, Yonah is one of them, because Gog and Magog equals 70, which is like the 70 nations, and Yonah equals 71. So this is the unity between the nations and Yisrael, and it's also the number of the Sanhedrin, the 70 elders plus Moshe. Okay, so this force, and it's a bird, which is like what we're talking about, the bird of redemption. It's this force that is able to unify these concepts of redemption and the Redeemer together as one. Okay, so back to it. We've got to go through it quickly now. That's just a small introduction. I may put up some slides about what I've just said. You'll have to pause and read them. You'll see that Amilus has got the exact same gematria as Moshiach ben David. Why? Because the biggest hindrance to a revelation of Moshiach ben Yosef and causing him to be in a state of continual descent and not uniting the forces of redemption, Moshiach ben Yosef, Moshiach ben David and Moshe together, is because we've got, and the biggest thing blocking it is our own imagination of who we think Moshiach ben David is. And at some point this Amilus will definitely incarnate, and we may put our hope and faith in this false Messiah. Okay, this is another big problem that we've got to try and circumvent through understanding and knowledge, how it's going to work. And the only way ultimately is to reveal the Moshiach ben David in the mind of God, which is the Torah. It's problematic when the Torah of Moshe is in exile. So we've got to divest first the Torah from this exile, and this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you the Moshiach revealed when we start to divest the Torah from its exile. These filthy garments, take them off and see what is revealed about Moshiach in the mind of God, which is the Torah, because this is free of imagination. We've got to be, and where do we look? We can look straight into the stories that fuel the imagination. The problem becomes the cure. Okay, this is a continual theme that I've gone over. Within the last place you'd think to look is the solution to the problem. Okay, so the thing that you would want to avoid, proper interpretation of the Torah of Moshe, because we are inclined within it, we're inclined within exile to follow our evil inclination. Our evil inclination is our inner Hasatan. armorless is a breed between Hasatan and an image or an idol. And it's basically, I know Rav Ginsburg's talked about it in terms of pornography and things like that, but in exile, our imagination and our fantasy dominate over true reality, which is the name Yod He Vav He, our soul. So we have this problem because stories fuel the imagination. Okay, and we've got to break that. We've got to break our inclination towards fantasy and imagination, basically. We've got to break through the face value of these stories and see in terms of gematria in this case, but also conceptually, what is revealed. So let's go forward. Torah of Moshe in Exile. I'm not going to read all that. I'm just going to basically put it up. If you want to read it, you can pause it. But it's saying that Moshe basically petitioned that his Torah not descend into these superficially strange Aggadot tales. Okay, it says, in the future, the secrets within them will be revealed, and this is the new Torah that will be revealed in the future. This is from Vilna Gaon Evan Shlomo, The Secret Doctrine of the Vilna of Gaon, Volume 2. So I've gone on, all my analysis began with a Torah commentary of Exile, veAchlama. So this is how it's related to Exile from my perspective. It was Exil's commentary of veAchlama. Moshe pleaded, so he obviously pleaded that he go into the land of Yisrael with the children of Israel, and it was never granted to him because Hashem desired the Torah of Moshe to go into exile. Hashem desired the Torah Moshe to go into exile, the first Redeemer. Hashem desired the Torah of Moshiach to go into exile. Hashem desired that Moshiach himself go into exile, and this is the concept of Moshiach in the husks. Ramchal mentions it within Judaism. Okay, where is the Moshiach? In the husk of Amalek. Okay, this can be proved endlessly from Torah. Okay, so Leshem also said in his book, Leshem, Shevo, veAchlama, now consequent to the fall of Adam, the external forces have control over the emanations of the light of knowledge that descends below, and this is the exile of the Torah. Therefore the Torah has become clothed in this world in garments and foreign klipot, shells, or husks as I like to say, that are not befitting her nor comely to her. In the same manner there are numerous Aggadot of the sages which are difficult to even listen to, and one's sensibilities are astonished at them, yet within them are hidden the secrets of the Torah. The exile of the Shekinah, the exile of the people of Yisrael, and the exile of the Torah are all due to the original fall of Adam. Okay, all of humanity is in a state of exile, and all of humanity is suffering. It's not just the children of Israel. Let's make that clear. The entire of creation, the animals and everything, is suffering this exile. Okay, and we need to end it. Another source is from the Talmud. Shimon ben Lachish says there are many verses that are seemingly fit to be burned as books of the heretics, since they appear redundant or frivolous, and yet they are themselves the essence of Torah. Okay, so that's from Chulin 60b, and you can find that on Sefaria.org. So let's go and have a look at one of these stories as an example. This was one that stuck out for me because I've come across it before, and the fact it's mentioned a dove, and I know that this is an important sign when it comes to revealing the Moshiach. Okay, all my teachings point to this. Yeshua HaMashiach said, the only sign that I will give this wicked and adulterous generation is the sign of Yonah. Okay, this sign is embedded in every single verse. I would say every single verse that is to do with the revealing of who the Mashiach is in the Torah of Moshe contains reference to Yonah. Okay, it's that important, and that's why I chose this particular story. So I'll go on, because only the Mashiach could have known. When I started analysing Exile, I was shocked. I was utterly and absolutely shocked at just how persistent this revelation came. And anyway, we'll just go, it's no different. We'll look at this and it's incredible, This is as incredible as it gets to me. So we've got this story anyway, I forgot a golden dove. And the Gemara further relates, Rabbi Baba Hannah was once travelling with a caravan. He ate and forgot and did not recite a blessing. He said to himself, what shall I do? If I say to them, I forgot to recite a blessing, they will say to me to recite a blessing here. As wherever you recite a blessing to God. It is better that I say to them, I forgot a golden dove. Then they will wait for me while I retrieve it. He said to them, wait for me, as I forgot a golden dove. He went and recited a blessing and found a golden dove. And that's from Berachot 53b. So obviously you can see here that whatever is tried to be told, whatever wisdom is tried to be passed over, it's not in a straight way. It's concealed in this tale. Okay, it's talking about blessings after the meal. You've got to go to the place where you ate to say the blessings. Okay, this is one of the things that you do. You sit at the table that you've eaten at and say the blessings. You don't go eat somewhere and say the blessings somewhere else. But I think it's to do with the fact that there were difference of opinions. Okay, so then it goes and explains the halakha regarding blessings after meals. But we've got this story, strange story. What does it mean? So now we're going to analyse this story. The next verse is actually a continuation. It's part of is what's written in the Talmud. Okay, so it follows in the Gemara. It says the Gemara asks, what is different about a dove that he specifically said that was the object that he forgot? The Gemara answers, because the community of Israel is likened to a dove. As it is written, the wings of a dove covered in silver and its pinions with the shimmer of gold. That's Psalm 68:14. The Gemara explains the parable, just as a dove is saved from its enemies only by its wings, so too Yisrael is saved only by the merit of its mitzvah. Okay, so now we know about the bird of redemption. And we know about the left wing being joy and the right wing being love. We have got to attain that level of redemption to be able to serve Hashem in this way. It's all messianic. Okay, that's really what it's referring to. And we've got to be very clear about what's before us. Okay, so now let's go and analyse this particular verse that it's given us from within the Torah, the Tanakh, one of the Psalms, because this is going to reveal a lot for us as to who this Moshiach is, because it says there, only by its wings, so too Israel is saved only by the merit of the mitzvah. But like you say, it's all connected to the way that we serve Hashem through the force of the Moshiachim, the Redeemer within us and our understanding. Okay. So if we actually go and have a look at the full verse, we'll notice that the first four words that are not actually included in the story in the Gemara of 4 words. This is quite an incredible revelation. If you look at the 4 words, tishkanun bein shefatayim. Okay, if you lie between the borders, that's what it's interpreted. If you lie between the borders, okay. But those 4 words, the initial letters spell the word atbash, and this is a way of manipulating the words, changing them around. So the aleph becomes a tav, that's the at, and the bet becomes a shin. So that's where we get atbash from. And then the gimel becomes a resh, and you continue until you've changed all the letters. The first letter of the alphabet becomes the second, the last letter of the alphabet, the tav. The second letter becomes the second to the last. And there's evidence within this in Torah. There's names that are of towns that are written, and there's no understanding what the names of these towns are, but in Atbash to reveal the names of the towns and things like that. So Atbash is used within the Torah. It's like a way of coding things. So we know there's a code involved in this. So when I saw Atbash, I saw Atbash from the initial letters straight away. By inspiration, I suppose I've got to say that, because I feel like this is the truth. Anyway, so I changed the letters. And the letters, if you look to the last text box on this page, you'll see what those letters transform to in Atbash. They don't make sense, those words, but there are some there are some words contained in these, like there's aval. I don't know about the first word, but there's aval means Bert, and then shvat is judge. Okay, and then the next one is very interesting. I'm going to go through an analysis of this. It's the shin, mem, and tet. Okay, shin, mem, and tet. This is a bar, and it's also the gematria of Esav. So this stuck out to me because we've got to transform Esav into shalom. So that definitely stuck out, and the fact that it's a negative connotations, and then that bo me, I mean, who comes, that can be split into two words. Who comes? So, or comes who? You know, who comes with what? It's Moshiach. It's related to the verb most associated with Moshiach is that bo. Or you could have Yavo even from that. You could rearrange it anyway. It's definitely, there's something about that that's pointing to Moshiach, certainly in my mind. And people who are more aware of the Hebrew language may see much more than what I even see. This is why it's so interesting. Obviously, I can only see to a certain level. So you add all that up, and we get some incredible gematrias. We add all the regular up. It's 410 plus 422 plus 349 plus 59 comes to 1,240. We're going to look at that number. It's highly significant. All these numbers are highly significant. I've just not got time to go over absolutely every one, so I've got to pick them out. The ordinal. This is, by the way, pointing to the Torah of Moshiach. The regular points to the Torah of Moshiach. Okay, it's pointing to Keter. We'll go see. What's the next one? The regular points to Keter. The 169 is pointing to the 13 attributes of mercy. 169 is 13 times 13. It's also the number of letters in the 13 attributes of mercy as revealed in Exodus, the level of Moshe, the Torah of Moshe. Okay, it's incredible. So this is talking about the unity, the stick of Yosef, which is the Torah of Moshiach, the 13 attributes of mercy as revealed at the level of Keter that are written in the book of Micah, verse 7. Okay, this is the Torah of Moshiach. It's a higher level of mercy, much higher, because the Moshiach came from a much higher place. He came from, Moshe is represented by the Vav of the name Yod He Vav He. Mashiach ben Yosef is represented by the level of Yekidah, the thorn of the name Yod He Vav He. So his Torah comes from a higher place. It's actually above Torah. It's a level of mercy without judgment at all, just pure mercy. Moshe's Torah contains judgment. It needs washing clean by the Torah of Moshe, but the Torah of Mashiach. The two need uniting as one, and here we have that unification spelt out very clearly. So let's go. There's also a verse, the first verse in Torah that comes to 1,409 is Genesis 46:12. All these 46:22. Sorry, all these are incredible revelations. So let's go and have a look at these numbers first. 1,240. Okay. Which is just incredible. So we've got to move quickly because there's so much revelation, it's unbelievable. And it says, and he said, for there is a hand on the throne. Okay, that comes from an ordinal of 139, which is Yonah Hanavi, by the way. We're talking about, I forgot, a golden dove. So again, you've got this concept. Okay, so 139 ordinally and a regular of 481. Both of those are significant numbers. 481 is. If you add them together, they come to 620, which is Keter, crown. 2 times that is 1,240. The regular of these words transformed to Atbash. Okay, 481 is 13 times 37. So it's 1, Echad, times Yechida. The unique one, the level of Mashiach ben Yosef. Okay, so for all these connections, this is why you've got the prophet Yonah. because Yon is associated with Moshiach ben Yosef. The full of that verse I've just read is from Exodus 17:16. It says, "And he said, for there is a hand on the throne of the Eternal, that there shall be a war for the Lord against Amalek from generation to generation." Okay, so part of that contains what we've just said. 481 is also the gematria for my sheaf. So we know it's talking about Moshiach ben Yosef because of this number, 481. And that's from a verse, Genesis 37:7. "Behold, we were binding sheaves in the midst of the field, and behold, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaths encircled it, and prostrated themselves to my sheath." This is all about Moshiach ben Yosef. Okay, so we've got all these connections right there and then. We don't need to look far for this. It's just like olives that you don't even need to crush. This is the oil that comes forth, the virgin oil. You know, you don't even need to crush the olives. This is just like pouring and streaming out. Revelation, just by looking at it. Okay, the next box then, the next text box down. It's just so crammed full of revelation, it's unbelievable. This is just a story. You don't need to look far. This is how easy it is to get the Torah of Moshe out of exile, by revealing the truth of who the Moshiach is, not some obscurity, okay, that's fueled by our imagination, that's fueled by a force called Armilos, the false Messiah, that he's created in our own imaginations because of these stories. Okay, so we have an impression of Moshiach ben David in our minds. And this is preventing us from understanding a revelation of Moshiach. But it kills the revelation of Moshiach ben Yosef. That's what it does. It destroys the revelation of Moshiach ben Yosef. It's all imagination fueled. It's not the truth. The truth is clearly revealed in the mind of God, which is the Torah. Okay, but our problem is that our imagination is fueled by the face value of these stories. And this is preventing a true revelation of who the Moshiach is, because that's why Armilos has got a gematria of Moshiach ben David. This is the greatest force of the false Moshiach. It's our own imagination. Armilos was generated as the offspring of Hasatan and an image. Okay? And that's exactly the force that's at work in this world at this time, fueled by our imagination, because what dominates in exile are Yetzirah, which is our inner Hasatan. I've gone past this before. I haven't got time to go through it today. I do plan on doing some other teachings about Armilos. The last teaching I did, Exile, decoded, Moshiach revealed, make yourself a serpent, covers more of the concept of Armilos. It's very important to understand this force, because this is a force that's preventing unity between the Meshiachim. Right, Yod He Vav He Hu Elohim. Very important. Very important name, this. It comes to 124, which is obviously 5 times 124 is Keter, crown. So this is a name associated with the crown. The full name includes the name Who. This is point B of the third text box down. The full name includes the name Who, which is a power and a wonder. A power of wonder, Pele, that unites the opposite forces of Yod, He, Vav, He, and Elohim. So Yod, He, Vav is the name associated with kindness, compassion, okay? And Elohim is associated with judgment. So the Who is the force that unites these as one. This is like the concept of the bird of redemption. It's in this name here. So you've got Yod, He, Vav, He, Hu, Elohim. And these are again the 3 concepts of redemption. Okay, so it's a powerful name. When you read in the Psalms, you can connect to this this name Who. You can connect to it through the Psalms, the Tehillim. Reading them, focus on the letter Who, because you're connecting to a very high level when you do. And we need to connect to that high level of the Keter. We need to connect to that level of soul within ourselves, the soul of Moshiach ben Yosef, okay, which is at the level of Keter. So it's very important to meditate when you're saying the Psalms, and this is one way I've used it. I'm not a Kabbalist, I don't know the Kabbalistic texts, I don't use any of them hardly, but I know this is a definite way to access higher levels of soul and higher levels of revelation, specifically connected to the Moshiach ben Yosef. And I'm just telling you from experience that this, when I've read the Tehillim previously, I've connected to this name and I've received revelation and nearness to the name Yod He Vav He. Okay, this is one of the ways in which you can literally attain nearness to Yod He Vav He. It's not a magic formula, by the way. It's not do this and it will happen. It's just it's a possibility. It's got potential. It's all to do with our own inner intentions. At the end of the day, what we attain. So you've got to have pure intentions. You've got to do it just simply for the sake of the name Yod He Vav He and not for the sake of yourself. Okay, so point C, Yeshu 37 plus Yeshu filled out with a Yod, which is the highest level, the level of Absolute, comes to 124. Okay, so connections right there. This is Moshiach ben Yosef. He had his name erased. Okay, this is the revelation that the stories of Yeshu fuel the imagination. They prevent unity between the house of Yosef, the house of Judah. Okay. I've gone over this before. I can't go over it too much today. And then we've got who Elohim is a 53 ordinal. That's Yeshua ordinally. Yeshua comes to 53. I will just mention though, Yeshu is definitely in the figment of the imagination of the Jewish people. This is Yeshu doesn't exist outside of Judaism. This is Erev Rav indoctrination. This is the Torah of Moshe in exile, because we're talking about the concept of the Moshiach ben Yosef. This is what kills Moshiach ben Yosef. This is what prevents unity, and this is what keeps the Torah of Moshe in exile. All these stories about Yeshua are repulsive. They're not the Torah of Moshe. And unless you go and look into this and interpret the stories in the Talmud that are talking about Yeshu differently and expose the truth in them, you cannot possibly connect all those forces of redemption together, and your bird cannot take flight. Okay, you've no left wing. You're going to be going round and round in circles, because a bird without a left wing does. It's not going to take flight. It's in a state of exile. It's diminished of all power. So you need to really go, if you're Jewish, and have a look at this. And for Christians, it's a different story. They've got a greater excuse because they've never been shown. This is why they've had to attain a greater level of mercy, by the way, and that's why the Torah of Moshiach is at the level of Keter. They need a greater level of mercy because they've no way of understanding these things. They need to be guided out, or you need to have a very powerful revelation of the Moshiach ben Yosef within in order to get you to question the exile into which Moshiach is descended. The husks that Moshiach is descended into is Edom, is Amalek, is Esav. This is Christianity. Okay? So they are in exile because they've got an understanding who they think Moshiach is, fueled by an anti-Moshiach, their own imaginations, and they have an understanding who they think Yeshua is. It's all fantasy fiction. This is how it's almost been turned into an idol, just like Amalus was a product of a Satan and an idol. This is what happens. But the truth is in that the truth is that the soul of Moshiach has redeemed them. Okay? But that needs then coming out, because the Moshiach has redeemed them from within exile. He's exiled. Moshe is exiled. The Torah of Moshe is exiled. The Torah of Moshiach is exiled. And the people that he reaches in exile, it illuminates them, but they're still within the context of exile. So now we just need to lift everybody up. The bird needs to take flight. The bird needs to take flight. We've got to unite all these forces together as one. The stick of Yosef together with the stick of Yehuda as one. That's the two Torahs, the Torah of Moshe, the Torah of Moshiach. Anyway, moving on, because there's just so much. 86 is also the regular and ordinary gematria of the letter Ayin. So the regular gematria is 70, the ordinary is 16, that comes to 86. So we know the concept of, this is again Moshiach ben Yosef, because he's had the letter Ayin removed from his name. Okay, and 86 equals 2 times Esav ordinarily, so Esav comes to 43. So 43 times 2 is 86. We need to subdue Esav to reach a place of Shalom. Okay, and then another fascinating thing is, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. Genesis 1.3. It's got a regular value of 813, an ordinal value of 201. Add them together, it's a 1014, which is 6 times 169. So that's your concept of the Torah of Moshe, the 169 letters of the Torah of Moshe. Okay. And then below I've got 169 is 13 times 13, which is Echad is 13 and Love is 13. And then we've got I've already mentioned the 169 letters in the 13 attributes of mercy in Exodus. Okay, so moving on. As we can see, it's just building an incredible picture up for us. Another thing that I'd like to mention, this was taken from a teaching by Dafei Tang that I found on the internet. It's looking at we were talking about I forgot a golden dove. So let's have a look at the analysis of the number of times that gold appears in the Torah. There's different variations of the spelling. Obviously, Zahav is 14, which is also equivalent to David, by the way. So we're talking about Moshiach ben David. And that's gold. That comes to, there's 243 appearances of gold in the Torah. And then obviously there's Zahav, which has got a gematria 16, so that's the first column. The 16 is the gematria of Zahav. In gold, there's 8 times that appears in the Torah. Okay, and so you go down. There's gold in gold. The gold is 19. Zahav comes to 60. 60 times it is in the gold, and all the way down. So if you add up all the different values for the different spellings of gold, it comes to 620, which is Keter. Okay, how many times does this appear in the Torah? 386 times, which is Yeshua. So there's a massive connection between Keter, the Yechida, Moshiach ben Yosef, and Yeshua. Okay, right there, just in the word gold. Like I say, he forgot a golden dove. So we know what we're talking about there, or we know what it's indicating there. Right, let's have a look at the next bit then. We need to just go back and have a look at those words in Atbash that I showed you. So I've highlighted it in red, 3 letters highlighted in red, just so we know what we're talking about now. These 3 letters that I've highlighted in red, they stood out to me because this word in Hebrew means a bar. Okay, and it also has the gematria of Esav, and I know that hidden in Esav, this darkness is a light, a great light. So I thought, let's go and have a look, see if this shows up at the initial letters of any verses, and it showed up as 4. It's incredible. Just this revelation alone is incredible. I haven't got time to go through it all, but let's just go and have a look at some. So the first verse that it showed up on is in Judges 9:2. This is an incredible story. It's an incredible story. It's very mysterious. But anyway, this I'm going to go through briefly because there are some verses that are even more significant. So I encourage you to go read Judges 9 to get the whole story, and you'll see it's an unbelievable revelation. It says, "Speak now in the ears of all the men of Shechem, what is better for you, that there rule over you 70 men, all the sons of Jerubbaal, or that one man rule over you. Now remember that I am your bone and flesh." So we've got reference to the 70 and 1, which is the concept of Yonah. Okay, the highlighted bits are the shin, the mem, and the tet. So that's Shechem, what is good. That comes to 502. Shechem is where Joseph is buried. Okay, and it's also the filling out of Esav. So we've got the connection. These come to an ordinal. Those two letters come to an ordinal of 40. Those three letters come to an ordinal of 43, which is Esav. So we know it's connected to Esav. We need to bring unity between Yaakov and Esav. The power of the Moshiach is able to do this. This is unity between Israel and the nations. This is unity between our body and our soul. This is unity between male and female. It's all the same concept. It's unity between the sun and the moon. You know, Yod He Vav He, and the Moshiach that shines the light of the sun. Yod He Vav He reflects the light of the sun. Okay, so there was another curious part to that. If you go through Judges 9 and listen to the end, this story, it's an incredible story. But you'll see repeated. They give this parable. Okay, so it's a parable, and it's given by Jotham. Okay, against it's really, you need to go. I haven't got time to go through it all anyway, but it's an incredible story. But this is repeated. This Jotham gives this parable over and over again about these trees, and it's he's talking about Avimelech. Okay, who's come and killed all these 70 men upon one stone, etc. It just goes on and on. It's full of curious things that really it's a story that needs to be revealed. It's just one of the samples of a story that needs to be revealed and analysed. But it comes up with this statement over and over again. It says, and the trees went forth to anoint a king over them, and they said to the olive tree, reign over us. But the olive tree said to them, should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honour God and men, and go wave over the trees? So this go wave over the trees, it goes through the different trees, like the fig tree and the vine, etc. All the noble trees, and they don't want to be the king. So then it goes to the thorn bush. The thorn bush agrees to be the king. Okay, so if we have a look at this wave over the trees, it comes to 471. Extremely significant number, because we looked at this in the last lesson and the previous lesson towards that. The previous lesson to that is called The Problem is the Cure. It's Exile revealed, Exile decoded, Moshiach revealed, the problem is the cure. So 471, very significant number. If you add the ordinal to that, you get 609. The first word of those three highlighted in red, were on the third text box down, but the olive tree said to them. And then the last ones, to wave over the trees, from Judges 9:9. The first word, lanua, is wave, and that comes to 156, which is Yosef. Okay. And then we've got all the things that we've already covered. For your thoughts are not my thoughts. So this is when we have to go to the mind of God in order to defeat army lust. This is what I came up with in the last teaching. We've got to go and understand what Moshiach ben Yosef, the Moshiach ben Yosef, the Moshiach ben David has revealed in the Torah of Hashem. This is what gives life to Moshiach ben Yosef, through understanding the concepts of Moshiach properly, Moshiach ben David, erasing our imagination, and instead there being a revelation based on the mind of God. So his thoughts are not, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. Okay, so that comes to 471. 4 times 471. The regular is 1653. The ordinal is 231. We're on point C of the last text box. So that's 4 times 471. So all connected. And then we looked at this from Tehillim, two next D and E from Tehillim 79:9. And that is for the glory of your name is 392, which is Yeshu spelled out. That's Moshiach ben Yosef. And then for the sake of your name is 550, which is 5 times 110, which is 5 times Yeshua Mashiach, ordinarily, which is 110. It's also Yeshua, the life of Joshua, the life of Yosef, it's all 110. And then you've got Moshiach ben David. So Moshiach ben David spelt with additional Yod is 434, plus the ordinal of Moshiach ben David spelt with a Yod is 92. And then the name David, spelt out with a Yod, is 24. Add them all together, you come to 550. So you've got the two Moshiachs as one there, to reveal the name of Yod He Vav He, to the glory of the name of Yod He Vav He, for the sake of the name Yod He Vav He. Okay, 392 plus 550 comes to 942, which is 2 times 471. So we've got very, very powerful connection there. And then we looked at the blood Hashafuch. We looked at the word Hashafuch, which is point G, spilled. We're talking about the spilt blood of the servants that needs avenging. And the avenging is what ultimately reveals the name of Yod He Vav He. Okay, so the word spilled comes to 471. It's got an ordinal of Amalek. Amalek is the force that's spilling all the blood. Is the force that spilt Yeshua's blood, the Erev Rav. One of the aspects of Erev Rav is the Amalekites. These are the people that killed Yeshua. These are the people that put him to death. These simple Jews simply followed him. They believed him because they weren't indoctrinated with Erev Rav, self-seeking glorification. It was only putting themselves in a position of authority within Judaism at that time for glory. We know for a fact because they all died on Yom Kippur. You know, they didn't last long in the high offices, let's put it that way. The massive turnaround. So we know at the time we were dealing with people in office at the top were very corrupt. It's well known. So we can assume what is this force? Erev Rav. That means a mixed multitude. It's the husks into which the Torah of Moshe is descended. They were the ones that killed Yeshua. It was not noble people. There was not noble officers at the time. The high offices, the high priest was not a righteous man. He was Erev Rav, just as what the problem is today. It was then. Put the Moshiach to death. Okay, the simple Jews knew the truth. They followed him. Okay, and then they put them to death as well. Okay, so the spilt blood is really referring to this primary spilt blood is Yeshua HaMashiach, but it's not just that. There's since these 2,000 years of Edomite domination, Amalek has killed countless and countless Jewish people. The Holocaust, the Amalekites, the Nazis. You know, and this blood needs avenging. This blood needs avenging, and it will be avenged. And I'm just praying for mercy that it's avenged in a good way, because humanity could not tolerate to be. We haven't got the capacity to withstand the kind of judgment that would need to come upon us to truly avenge that blood. You know, it's like you've got to think about what Yeshua says. They know not what they've done, and. I don't know, I can't judge, but I just beg for mercy for humanity, for all this blood that's been spilled in the name of Hashem. You know, so like the Christians going in and murdering these people, forcing conversions and things like that. In the history of the church is so bloody, it's unbelievable. And this has been done in the name of the one who was killed, Yeshua. This is what creates problems. Amalek causes doubt. You actually end up doubting even in the existence of God. You know, this is what the consequence of the Holocaust was for many, many Jewish people. There is no God. That was what they concluded, because God couldn't have possibly allowed this butchery to happen. And he was completely concealed from these people to the point where they couldn't believe in God. The doubt. The Amalek killed the bodies, but he also killed the souls in somewhere. And this is what happens when you're faced with doubt. And you look at the bloody history of the church and you just think, you can't possibly be the Moshiach in all this. you know, and in that place of Amalek, of greatest doubt, is the greatest revelation. Okay, it's an absolute fact. We have we have to overcome that level of doubt. We have to overcome that level of doubt. We have to reach a place where, even faced with such horrors, we've got to say there is only Hashem, Enod Milvador. Okay, I'm going to finish this off, and then I'm going to show you how the avenging of blood, the spilt blood, the 471 point G, how that actually ultimately reveals and is connected to a revelation of the glory of your name and for the sake of your name. Because obviously we can see that these two equal the spilt blood and are associated with Amalek. So how can the spilt blood by Amalek, by the Erev Rav, Amalek is one aspect of the Erev Rav, there's 5 in total, how does this bring about a revelation? Okay, we'll go to point I. How does this bring about revelation of the glory of the name Yod He Vav He? And I'll give you some proof to that. Point H is Yeshu filled is 393, and ordinarily 78 comes to 471. So again, we've got the concept of Moshiach ben Yosef. 393 is the initial letters of all the 5 of the Erev Rav. So there's the Nephilim, the Gibborim, the Anakim, the Rephaim, and the Amakalim. Okay, the initial letters of all that spell Negera, evil, plague. Okay, this is also the total of Shiloh. The Shiloh is the name that unites all the concepts of Moshiach, Moshe, David, and Yosef, Moshiach ben Yosef, all as one, and they come to a total of Yeshu, 393. So we need to understand all these concepts in order to get out of exile. So that comes to 471. The middle letters of Ashefuch come to 386, Yeshua. So we know that he was the primary spilt blood, and that's also contained in the curse between Chava and the Nachash, because he will bite your heel. The word bite contains the middle letters Shin, Vav, Pe, just like this, and come to 386. So Yeshua is the one that bites the heel. Okay, you know, the Moshiach has got the same gematria as Nachash. Okay, he is the one that bites the heel, i.e. the suffering of the Moshiach ben Yosef in exile is what perpetuates exile. Until we can unite the concept of Moshiach ben David and the Moshiach ben Yosef together with Moshe, we will be in exile. So we're all being bitten by exile. Okay, we're all descended into the Yetzer Hara, the Moshiach included. But this problem should be part of the cure, just as he says, the snake lifted up in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. Because when we see that the Moshiach is the reason why we're suffering is because the Moshiach is in exile, Edomite exile, then we can do something about it. Okay, so that's just one way of looking at it anyway. It's the snake lifted up in the wilderness. The thing that bites you becomes the thing that heals you. So we are suffering in exile because Moshiach is in exile, just as those were suffering so the children of Israel were suffering in Egypt because the Shekinah was with them in Egypt, suffering. Okay, so our suffering is connected to the suffering of Moshiach ben Yosef. It's what's biting us. But it's also what's healing us, because that same force is the force pushing us out of exile. It's the thing that's going to heal us. So we need to connect it to and understand it. Okay, so I was just going to be bitten and nothing else. And then the word for you will crush his head, the word crush, also contains the same letters, Shin, Vav, Pe, comes to 386. Okay, Kilo, so for not, it comes to an ordinal of 43, which is Esav. Let me have a look where I got that from. Oh yeah, it's from for not for my thoughts are not. So are not, ki lo, comes to Esav. Okay, so the thoughts that our imagination, our inner Esav, inner Asatan generates regarding Moshiach ben Yosef, and all what we think the Torah of Moshe is, when it's really the Torah of Moshe in exile, all this imagination and fantasy, it's not the thought of Hashem. It's our inner Esav that needs subduing, to a place of shalom. Esav is 376, shalom is 376. This is represented by the dove, by the way. Shalom is represented by the dove. It's the international global symbol for peace. Okay? Our thoughts are not. The thoughts of Hashem that are revealed in the Torah are not the thoughts that we have in our own imagination, that's fueled by the fact that we are in exile. We're in Edomite exile. It's all synonymous. It's Esav, where our bodies are dominating. We need to subdue our bodies. So our soul, our inner Yaakov, dominates. Truth dominates over fantasy. Yaakov represents truth. Okay, so this is why I'm looking at these letters, the Shin, the Mem and the Tav, because the spell Esav. We've got to subdue this imagination down by seeing what is revealed in the mind of God itself, the Torah, divested of this illusion that's created by the Erev Rav. Okay. Very important point though. If we just look at this now, this is Tehillim 79, 9-10. Revenge, nechmat, as in nechmat dam, revenge of the blood, of the spilt blood. We've just had a look at the word spilt. It contains the middle letters Yeshua. Okay. It comes to, revenge is the regular is 590, and the ordinary is 68, comes to 658. Okay, 658 times 2 is 1,316. This comes up again, by the way. This is a very significant number. It's 1,000 plus 613. So Moshiach ben David, basically, 434, plus Moshiach ben Yosef, 566. This is the Aleph Gadol, Ha-Aleph Gadol, which is what Moshe is called. You know, Ha-Aleph Gadol is 1,000. The normal value of Aleph is 1, but the Aleph Gadol is also equivalent to 1,000. Aleph means 1,000. So this is all your powers of redemption together, united. Moshe, Moshiach ben David, Moshiach ben Yosef, but it's plus Yeshu as well, which is 316. So we need to unite all these forces together in order to reveal that 658. Why? Because 658. So only when the Mashiachs unite and the spilt blood of his servants is avenged, including primarily Moshiach ben Yosef, which is Yeshua, we will see a full revelation of the name Yod He Vav He. Why? Because text point, third point down, the luminaries. My Hebrew is shocking. Hameroth. Okay, the luminaries, 658 plus 73 ordinal. Okay, comes to 731, which is 17 times 43. Corrected spelling of luminaries is good times Esav. So we know we've got to, in order to get there, we've got to do something with Esav. We've got to transform Esav to good, to the side of good, from the evil inclination to the Yetz HaTov. Yetz HaTov means good inclination. Yetz Hara is evil inclination. This is synonymous with Esav. Yetz HaTov is synonymous with Yaakov. So we've got to subdue Esav to the side of good to reveal the true luminaries. Why? Because it's not spelt like that in the Torah. It's not spelt with the two vavs. It's missing the two vavs in the Torah. So the luminaries, referring to the sun and the moon, which is the relationship between Yod He Vav He and the Meshachim, because the Messiah shines. The moon is represented by Moshiach ben David, and it's a reflection of the light of the sun, which is Yod He Vav He. But it's spelt defectively. It's spelt He, Mem, Aleph, Resh, Tav. So it's 12. It's two missing vowels. So that's why we've got to work through all these. I'm not going to go through the rest, but basically, point 5 shows you how the luminary is actually spelt in Torah. It's defective. It's from Genesis 1:16, spelt defectively. But that comes to the gematria and the ordinal come to 707, which is Michael times 7, which is guardian angel of Israel. And then point 7, I'll just point out, this with the stick of Yehuda. With the stick of Yehuda comes to 707. Okay? And if you look at the defective missing vav, which is 731, and if you take away, point 3 comes to 731. If you take away from it the defective spelling, 707, you've got 24. This is point 8, 24, which is David rectified with a yod. It's important to get this concept right, because this is where we're going, and these are the things that have been revealed. How we get there, we've got to subdue Asa for a start, and in doing we bring unity between body and soul, between the nations and Israel. And this is the whole goal of Torah. We will come across this at some point. So I think I've covered pretty much everything there. The next verse is here. I'm not going to go through the bottom box at all, the bottom part at all, but that's just a verse that equals the gematria. But let's just have a look at the verse. It says, and Shmuel said, as the Lord has much desire in burnt offerings and peace offerings, as in obeying the voice of the Lord. Behold, to obey is better than a peace offering, to hearken is better than the fat of rams. That's from 1 Samuel 15:22. Okay, so we've got again Shin Mem Tet, which are the letters that I showed you in Atbash. After changing those letters, because I don't need to keep going over this. So Shin Mem Tav, which equal Esav. Understanding, so point 1, second text box down, understanding and obeying is better than sacrifice, comes to 484, plus 97 ordinally comes to 581. 97 is Esav spelt out. It's the ordinal of Esav spelt out. Okay, that's point 2. It's also Yeshu plus Amalek. Yeshu ordinally is 37, Amalek ordinally is 60. So this is a level of darkness we've got to overcome, because Yeshu is created by the Erev Rav. And Amalek is one of the Erev Rav, and they cause a lot of spilling of blood. These need eradicating completely. Okay? They need subduing. Amalek needs erasing. All doubt needs erasing. Okay, so doubt is what kills us spiritually. Doubt in the name Yod He Vav He is what kills us spiritually. Amalek, the manifestation of that is in the physical, is Amalek. Killing is like the Nazis. Okay, and all the other forces of Amalek. A lot of these eugenicists at this time, these vaccine programs and everything, the eugenics programs, that's basically what Amalek's all about, eugenics, depopulation and things like that. It wasn't, the Nazis were the same. Okay. So then we've got, and God said, let there. So it comes to 368 plus 116 ordinally, which is Moshiach ben Yosef, and that comes to 484. 368 is also my anointed, my Moshiach, Mashiach, my anointed. Okay, so that connects back to 484, and it says, and God said, let there. So we know that this is before let there be what? Let there be light. What is this light? Revelation of the name Yod He Vav He. What do we need in order to attain this revelation? We need to defeat Esav. We need to subdue Esav. We need to erase Amalek completely. Erase every doubt that we've got in the name Yod He Vav He. We've got to have complete emunah, complete faith, complete bitachon, complete trust in the name Yod He Vav He. We attain this. The more we fight the doubt, the more we subdue an evil inclination to good, then we'll start to see that there is indeed light. But it is in battling these forces that we reveal that light, because the light is hidden in those dark husks of Amalek. Is hidden in the dark hosts of Esav. Is hidden in all these forces that are before us now. Is hidden in this imagination called Yeshu. Okay, these fantasy fiction, that the Erev Rav, these are hidden in just as like the light's hidden in these stories, like what we're revealing now. We haven't even got to the story, and we're revealing this wonderful light. Okay, I'm not going to go on anymore. If you want to pause and read, you can go see. There's a verse here that I've come across previously. It's got an ordinal of 484. There's some nice gematria in there, but basically telling us that it's connecting us to the concept that Moshiach needs redemption. Moshiach ben Yosef needs redeeming back through Pidyon Nefesh back to Am Yisrael from the nations, the Edomites. He doesn't belong in the nations. It's as simple as that. He's the force that brings unity between the nations and Am Yisrael, but he is Am Yisrael. Okay, he's not an Edomite. He's not this Yeshu, the figment of Jewish people's imagination, fueled by these stories that are to be found in Talmud, that Moshe in exile, the Torah of Moshe in exile. Okay, we've got to break through this influence, and we've got to receive a revelation of the Aleph Gadol. Okay, the Aleph Gadol. We've got to reach a place of Enod Milvado. Enod Milvado is attaining the level of Moshiach ben David. Okay, because Enod Milvado is 82 ordinally, and it's Moshiach ben David is 82 ordinally. And we can only attain that level after we fully understand the concept of Moshiach ben Yosef, because the 999 footsteps of Moshiach are associated with Moshiach ben Yosef, and the final footstep up to the 1,000 is Moshiach ben David. And this is and again, we've got to have unity. 999 has got to reach the level of 1,000 to reach the level of the Aleph Aggadot, the great Aleph, which is Moshe. Which is Moshe revealed as Moshiach, who attains the level of Moshiach. Okay, so the initial letters of Enod Milvado are 111. Okay, let's just fire on though. Next verse. And Shmuel said, has the Lord as much desire? I think I've just gone on through that, haven't I? Just wait a minute. Okay, so the first 5 of there have already gone through. The last one, however, this is incredible. This is incredible revelation. So Pekuda, visitation comes to 189, plus 45 is 234 together, referring to the first redemption. Zakira, remembrance, is 242 plus 53, which is Yeshua. Okay, so 45 is Adam, and Yeshua, who is the last Adam, and that comes to 295, refers to the second redemption. So these are 2 words that refer, one to Pekuda refers to the first redemption, Zakira refers to the second redemption. Okay. Okay, so we've got remembrance, Zakira equals 242, and 242 times 2 equals 484, which is exactly the same as what we've got here. Understanding is better than sacrifice is a regular for that. So that's how that's connected. So we know we're connected with this to the final redemption, which is the ordinal is Yeshua. Okay, so we've got all these concepts going over and over again. And then we've also got point 7, which is Yisrael is 541, the ordinal is 64. You add them together, you get to 605, which is 121 times 5. Okay. Excuse me, 484 is 4 times 121. Right, so we're going to have a look at 121 because it's an extremely significant number regards Moshiach. So with joyful song and thanksgiving, it comes to 121. Again, we've got sheaths, which comes to 121, alumim. When the tribes bow to Yosef's sheaf, there will be joy and thanksgiving. So that's from Genesis 37:7. We've already gone through that. Binding sheaves. Okay, which is mentioned. We're going to go and have a look anyway, because if you notice in point 1, the 484 plus 97 comes to 581. We'll go see what that means. Okay. So we've got binding sheaves, which is an ordinal of 111, which is the Aleph. We want in a revelation of the Aleph. We want in a revelation of the 2 Mashiachim that come to 1,000. Okay, so this is just another, it's just another way of understanding this binding sheaves in terms of a revelation of the Aleph, the Aleph Aggadot, which is Moshe as the Moshiach, the final Redeemer. Okay, point 10, 120 equals declare his glory among the nations. A very, very important concept, because we'll come to it eventually. I don't think we're going to go through it all in this lesson. Point 11, 3 times 121 is HaMoshiach. And then point 12, this is incredible. This is incredible. May his name be erased in his memory. So that comes to 643 and an order of 121. Okay, so that comes to 7,604, and that's 4 times 191. Now we get Yeshu from this saying. The initial letters Yod, Shin, and Vav, Yimach Shmo, okay, were Zachru. May his name and be erased in his memory, comes to the initial letters are Yeshu. That's where we get Yeshu, as in Yeshua, the curse of Yeshua from. May the erase his name. And this is the statement. It's got an ordinal of 121, and it's got the ordinal and the regular come to 764, which is 4 times 191. 191 is the ordinal for all the names of the Moshiach that are written in the Talmud. So the names of the Moshiach in the Talmud are Yinan, Menachem, Shiloh, and Chanina, and those are the initial letters of Moshiach, by the way. The Mem is Menachem, Shiloh is the Shin, Yinon is the Yod, and Chanina is the Chet of Moshiach. So who is Moshiach then? If these are all the names of Moshiach, comes to 191, the Moshiach is the one who had his name erased. Who had his name erased? Yeshu. Yeshu had his name erased. Yeshua had his name erased to Yeshu. Okay, which is Yimach Shmo. Okay, Wazachru. It's all there. If you want to see it, you'll see it. 643, which is the regular of May's name, be erased in his memory, is the 118th prime from 118th is Yeshua filled. Okay, so back up to point 1, 581. This comes to 2 my sheaf. We looked at what my sheaf came to, Alumati, 408. What? No, it was 400 and something anyway. So this one is 581. All the sheaves will bow to the sheaves of Yosef. This is the regular and the ordinal. Look what the ordinal is, 70. Okay, 70 is the 70 nations. It's the letter Ayin, for example. It's the 70 elders with Moshe. Moshe is the 71st. Okay, so there's all these things connected. To my sheaf comes to 581. We've already previously looked at to my sheaf, haven't we? That's got 481. Okay, and that refers to one of the other verses that contain this Shin, Mem, and Tet. Right, moving on. Look at these two. I'm going to go through these and then end it. How beautiful are the feet of the herald on the mountains, announcing peace, heralding good tidings. So again, we've got the Shin, the Mem, and the Tov, which is Shalom, heralding good tidings. Comes to 1060. Its gematria is 935 plus 125. I'm going to go through this very quickly now. So Yeshua filled is 175 plus an ordinal of, this is point 2 now, an ordinal of 175. Together they come to 1,250, which is 10 times 125, obviously. Okay, 1,060 comes to 10 times 106, 4 times Moshiach ben David. Okay. 160 also comes to woolen tunic. This is the woolen tunic of Yosef. Okay, which is 212 times 5 as well. Ketonet Pesayim. I think, let me just zoom in, see if I've said that right. Ketonet Pesayim. Pesim. Ketonet Pesim. Okay, 212 is also Na'um Adonai Ladoni, the word of the Lord to my Lord, from Psalm 110, which is highly messianic. 106 is 2 times Yeshua ordinarily. 2 times 53, which is 2 times Yeshua ordinarily. 106 is Yonah regular gematria plus Yonah ordinal gematria. So that's 75 plus 35 is 106. Okay. Shalom, as in Shalom mevaser tov, Shalom heralding good tidings. And let's just read the whole of this verse. How beautiful are the feet of the herald on the mountains, announcing peace, heralding good tidings, announcing salvation. Yeshua, saying to Zion, your God has manifested his kingdom. Okay, not the kingdom of Satan that's manifested in our imagination. No, the kingdom of Yod-Heh-Vav looks significantly different. Okay, so Shalom is 376, which is Esav. And the ordinal of that is Moshiach. So we know there's a connection between Esav and Moshiach. Okay, that comes to 428, which is 4 times 107. 7 times 107 is Yeshua HaMashiach. So we know that Shalom and Yeshua HaMashiach. Mashiach is very much connected. Shalom Mevaser comes to 918 regular and 118 ordinally. That's 1026 is 0.9. Got to see over for 918. Yeshua Ben Nun is an ordinal of 108. Okay, so that's connected to Shalom heralding Yeshua Ben Nun. Okay, also this is the negative side of it. The Uzzah and Azael comes to 108, so Hashem made one opposite the other. So we've got to battle with these forces. These are, and this has got a regular, by the way, Uzzah and Azael is Amalek. So this is again the forces of Amalek, the Erev Rav. Okay, there's all kinds of things there. There's 123, for example, is he sets an end to darkness. The order of he sets an end to darkness. What is it now? Shem Lechoshech. Can't remember quite how it goes because my Hebrew's not brilliant. Shem Lechoshech, I think, sets an end to darkness. Comes to 123 anyway, ordinarily. So we've got that Uzzah and Azael, codenames for Satan. This is the breeding ground for our imagination. So there's the goat to Azazel on Yom Kippur, and these are 2 names of the Erev Rav Nephilim. So we're talking about the Erev Rav, and it's got in order on gematria of Amalek, which you've come across over and over again. So let's go look at this 119 then. 918. Right, I'm not going to go through all these because I've been through them before, but basically who was ascended into heaven and descended comes to 153, which is a triangle of good, triangle of 17, and it's also the mysterious the mysterious number of fish that Yeshua pulled out of. Yeshua told his disciples to go fish because they hadn't caught any fish, and they've got 153 in the dragnet, and this was after he'd already been crucified. He'd ascended into heaven and descended. He was on his way to Esav. He was giving them a code name. Okay, nobody's been able to figure out in Christianity. You can go and see what does this 153. They've no answers for it. It means this. Who is ascended into heaven and descended? Yeshua. Okay, so we've got the initial letters, point A, highlighted. It comes to Esav, Esav, from Esav. It's ordinal of 56, which is the ordinal of Teshuvah, repentance. What's the ultimate Teshuvah? What's the ultimate repentance? To get Mashiach ben Yosef redeemed from Esav. Okay, who was ascended into Esav and descended? The highlighted letters, the letters highlighted in red, come to Yeshua. Okay, so we've got Esav, Yeshua, and he's redeeming from Esav, and he's redeeming from Rome, and he's redeeming from this exile. Okay, and we redeem him when we become more conscious of this reality and what Hashem has done. We defeat the husks that surround him. Okay, and bring him back to Am Yisrael, redeem him back to Am Yisrael. 918 is also the ordinal of, and he said, for there is the hand of the throne of the eternal, that there shall be a war for the Lord. Okay, that ultimately comes to regular 675 plus 243 ordinally. Okay, both of them are very significant numbers. I've gone over them before. 918, that comes to Yeshua, and Yeshua filled out comes to 918. That's point B on the third text box down. 243, which is the ordinal, what you just see there in pink from point A, comes to the priest, the prophet, and the king. These are the authority of the name Yod He Vav He, the three ways in which his authority are manifest through the king, the prophet, and the priest. Okay, Amalek filled with a Vav comes to 918. It comes to 1,457 plus 377 orderly, which is 2 times 917. So you add the Kalel, you get to 918. The Kalel is adding an Aleph because it's for Alu for Shalalam, master of the universe. And he hides in an Aleph. Okay, and then the final one, and he said, for there is a hand on the throne of the eternal, that there shall be a war for the Lord against Amalek. That again comes to 917 regularly. Okay, and that's connected up to what we've got above that comes to that regularly and ordinarily comes to 918. So we know this is significant to this verse. We've come across this verse previously in this analysis, so we know there's a lot of significance there. So that also comes to regular 917. So we add a Kalel and we get up to 918, and that's got an ordinal of 305. Let's go and have a look at the last one then. A good name is better than oil, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. That's Ecclesiastes 7:1. That comes to Tov, Shem, Meshem, and Tov. Okay, so we've got Shem, Meshem, and Tov, the Shin, the Mem, and the Tet. A good name better than good oil. So we've got 787 and 112 ordinally, comes to 899. We're going to be specifically looking, at the number 112. So the initial letters, so 899 plus 349, which are the initial letters, Shin, Mem, and Tet, the regular of the initial letters, comes to 1,248, which is 156 times 8, which is Yosef times 8. Okay, Shem, Meshemen, a good name better than oil, is a regular of 770, plus 95 is 865, 770.4 is 7 times Yeshua Moshiach. Okay, 95, which is the ordinal for a good name better than oil, is Hamelech. Okay, 112 ordinally comes to until when Shiloh shall come. So Shiloh is the bird of redemption. It's Moshiach ben Yosef, Moshiach ben David, and Moshe together with a revelation of Yeshu. Okay, which is Moshiach ben Yosef. That's the overall revelation. That comes to 395. It's got Moshe, it's 345 is Moshe. It's regular gematria. Its ordinal gematria is 48, which is 2 times David, and it's also the ordinal of Yosef. Add them together, it's 393, which is Yeshu filled out. Okay, so we've got a big connection there. So until when Shiloh shall come, that's a revelation of all the united forces of the Redeemer together as one. And 574 is actually significant, but we haven't got time to go through all these things. Right, Yod He Vav He Elohim also comes to 112. So this is a unity again of the two forces. The Yod He Vav He representing kindness, and the Elohim representing judgment, but it's and fear. So we've got love and fear. And we're wanting to transform ultimately that fear into joy. So we've got love and joy. Okay, Purim is 3 times 112. So the name Yod He Vav He is not revealed in that book of Esther at all. We've looked at this concept of Purim on a few occasions before, especially the number 402, which is the regular and the ordinal together. And then I have surely remembered Pakod Pakadte comes to 184 plus 594 regularly. That comes to 778, which is Shavuot. It's got an ordinal value. Shavuot is when King David the Moshiach was born and he died. Okay, it's got an ordinal value of 112. 40 plus 72 is 112. So Pakadte is the code that was given, that Moshe said It was given by Yosef, but it was spoken by Moshe, and then it was recognised as the Moshiach, as the Redeemer, based on him saying these words, Pakod Pakodte, I have surely remembered, as in I have surely remembered you. Referring to Hashem, surely remembering the children of Yisrael in Egypt. Okay. 780 plus 112, which is Shavuot, the ordinal value of I have surely remembered, and the regular value of I have surely remembered together come to 890, which is 2 times 445, and Yeshua spelt out. So the second fill-in is 445 ordinally. Okay, 778, which is the regular for I have surely remembered, plus 110, which is Yeshua HaMashiach, comes to HaMashiach filled out. So HaMashiach filled out, it's to the first fill-in, comes to 888. Okay, so you've got He, Mem, Shin Yod, Nun for Shin, Yod Vav Dalet for Yod, and Chet Yod Tav for Chet, and comes to 888. Okay, point 11, 184, which is Pakod, as from Pakote, comes to 2 times 92, which is 2 times Moshiach ben David, ordinarily spelt out with the additional Yod. And I think I'm going to leave it there. This is an incredible teaching, by the way. It reveals a lot. If you've got the patience to endure this teaching, you will have received a lot of light that hopefully helps eliminate some of the doubts that you might have regarding who Moshiach is. Okay, shalom. Enjoy.